about 20 on each team, and it was a great night. So things from an excitement and participation standpoint seem to be.
Talk about the guys who haven't played in the past from the basketball team, like Adonis and Devin, what they're going to bring, and kind of the excitement they bring, because of course they're coming off a great season.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I don't usually like to get into bragging on individuals too much, but I think even these two would attest to it. They're different. That's going to make us a different ball team. Okay, Devin and Adonis bring a lot of energy, a lot of excitement, a lot of athleticism to what they're able to do. And again, it breeds competition amongst our other positions. It lightens the load on these two. They don't, you know, there's things they can take on. And again, I know we hadn't been in pads yet, but what I watched those guys do, it's pretty special.
This is for the players. Guys, why don't you just talk about maybe some positive impact changes you've seen since Coach took over, and also talk about the impact he's made on you personally in just the short time that he's been there so far.
Definitely organization. Like there's a plan, there's something we need to do, a place we need to be, and he gets us there. I think that helps us as a team.
We got a lot more discipline, and we were lacking a lot of.
Yeah. It definitely, and not only that, but it brings this level of intensity, because we're confident in where we're going to be and what we're supposed to do. So now we can focus on the intensity of the game, and it benefits us as players, as a team.
Coach, y'all don't leave the friendly confines of Bill Boyd Stadium until week 6. Talk about how you're gonna use that to set up this season.
You know, obviously, I think learning to be successful at home is what you would want. So, you know, we're going to have. I guess there's pros and cons of it. I feel like this group will be comfortable and play a little more confidently in front of at Bill Boyd. So what we've got to make sure that we teach them is how to perform when we do go on the road. And you're right, it's a while before we go on the road. And it would be easy to say, well, hey, we need to get as much win and done as we can at home, but I don't want them to fall into that train of thought. So, you know, for me, I know it's not, you know, they're all home games there at the front end, but we're just going to have to attack it the same way we would, on the road. If we do what we're supposed to up there up until week 6, then I hope when we go to Pleasant Valley or wherever we're going that we can turn it into a home-like atmosphere and fans follow us.
Each one of you guys got new lockers last year, got skins for your helmets, things like that. You got a new coach this year, so the outlook's obviously changed overall for you guys. Can you guys speak on that a little bit about your mindset approaching this season?
When you feel like you got the support of your coaches and equipment and stuff, I can't really explain it. It brings you up. Like you feel like you have people behind you helping you play the sport that you love. Like I was talking to one of the coaches, and usually we have like 2 or 3 coaches out there with us. But when we got like 5 or 6 coaches focusing on positions, you know, it helps us be more organized and have people who can focus on things. And it's a lot of support. It helps us.
Yeah, getting new things brings a lot more excitement to the players. Yeah, I think it's been helping just mentally a lot.
It brings energy too. Like the coaches bring a lot of energy, and so when you have more coaches, more people talking, more people being loud, it's a lot more energy, and it helps us. So,
I want to ask the players, guys, going into the season, you've worked hard I know all summer, new coaches coming in. Talk about goals for the team. I know you guys probably have discussed those, and maybe individual goals for you and your positions.
I think as a team, I always like getting out there and having 11 guys being physical. And I feel like that's part of the game, and that really helps me, you know, have confidence in us when we're physical and getting out there and getting them. Personal goals, I just want to do my part for the team, you know, do what Coach tells me to do. If he points me in one direction, that's where I'm going. So that's my personal goals.
So we have more seniors than we've ever had. I think the most seniors we've ever had since I've been there is 4. Yeah. And we have what? How many? 13
seniors.
Year. And I just hope that each senior sets a good example for the younger guys to want to keep playing and playing to their best ability.
Yeah, there's a different level of confidence out there when you got seniors behind your back helping you. So.
Question for you guys. Y'all are representatives of the team today, you're here at Media Day. What does it mean to you to be selected to be representing your team and your community?
Feels good. It's an honor because we've been doing this for a long time, and watching the older guys do this and be in this spot, just getting to be here representing feels really good as a player.
It's an honor to be trusted to speak upon the school and the team and the community.
Coach, you mentioned coaching with Coach Morris. That's the last time Gaston made the playoffs. Have you had any conversations with him since you took the job, just kind of about questions about it, maybe things that he had to deal with as a head coach that's a little different now?
Maybe one or two. Yeah, we've talked a little. He was the first one to call me and congratulate me. And even before then, he had called and we had talked about a few things. And but I've been picking Swain Morris's brain, Paul Benefield's brain, Scott Martin back there. I mean, I'm always going to reach out to guys that have had success and have done it before me to see how I need to do it. But yeah, we've had a few good conversations about being back at Gadsden.
Coach, to a Region 7, I believe you open with Asbury here in a couple of weeks, not far away. Talk about region, talk about your schedule, the challenges there this year.
Yeah, so it's a tough region. I think from top to bottom, I think everybody in the region is in play to make the playoffs. Certainly, you would have to look at Pisgah and say Pisgah's an elite team. I know Pleasant Valley has had some recent success, Cedar Bluff, North Sand Mountain. There's teams that are used to making the playoffs in that region, but we're not going to shy away from that. Okay, we've set out a goal to, and my goal and something I've said to them all along is consistently gaining. So we're not going to attack this thing and lay it down and say, look, I think we can do this. Okay, and I've had it said in the past, and I've said it to teams in the past. And any coach that gets up here and tells you they've never thought this way is filling you a line. I've looked at schedules before and thought, well, I think this is what we can do. But I have not allowed myself to do that here because I know what I see at practice. I know what this region looks like. I know what my non-region looks like. And I think I have a group that in all 10 contests, I'm going to put them out there and we have a chance. And that's all I can ask for them to do is be consistent in the way they approach everything. And if we consistently gain throughout just a game from the beginning of a series to the end of a series, from series to series, from quarter to quarter, from half to half, from start to finish, if we are consistently gaining and finishing better than we start, then I think we've got a good chance to do something that I don't think, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but something that I don't think very many people think we can do. And I think that's kind of where we are quietly building steam and building up a lot of pressure that is ready to blow. And so we're going to attack it week to week.
Coach, last question to wrap it up today. Talk about what you've done this summer as far as OTAs, 7-on-7, the work that these guys have done so far this summer.
Yeah, absolutely. So you two correct me if I'm wrong, but the 7-on-7 at Collinsville was probably the first time you guys had never been to a 7-on-7 or an OTA, had you?
No, not.
We
Younger.
went to one with Coach Harris.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what Coach Harris was doing offensively, and then with what happened last summer so late, it's been a while since they've been. So, we went to a 7-on-7 at Collinsville, and it started slow because, again, how do I compete? That's my biggest thing is how do we learn to compete in an aggressive manner? But we finished that day better than we started. We went to Sylvania for a full-team OTA, and that's where, try to make sure I say my words carefully. That is where I knew we have a chance to do things that people do not expect us to be able to do. All right, we went up there and competed very well against a very well-coached football team, a very athletic football team. And then we finish up this Thursday. Raglan comes over and we do a 7-on-7. I try to find a fine line on. I don't want it to be just a mundane experience in the summer where you're just doing this over and over, but at the same time, I don't want to run their legs off of them, with all those. And I'm a worry bug when it comes to injuries when when you're doing things that you don't necessarily have to be doing, but then somebody gets hurt during that time. that bothers me. But this summer, man, attendance-wise, you know, I can't complain. We've been there. We've come out of this summer so far, you know, pretty healthy. So there's just a lot to be excited about. And I do not know what that means for wins, losses on a schedule, but again, we understand we're attacking it week to week.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, guys. Good luck to the Bulldogs this year.
All right, thank you,
Thanks for
guys.
participating today. Okay, while we get ready, I'll just announce once again that West End is not participating today. They're having a OTA or a 7-on-7, and talked with Coach Harris yesterday, and he apologized for not being here. But with that, we will move on this morning. The Glencoe Yellow Jackets are up next, and Coach, if you'd just and let the guys introduce themselves, or you introduce them, some opening comments about the Glencoe Yellow Jackets this year.
Okay, I don't mind. I'll let the guys introduce themselves and tell you what position they play.
I'm Joe Coleman, right guard.
I'm Carter Cook, tight end.
Baylor Dunn, fullback, defensive lineman. Aiden James, defensive end, tight end.
And so you already know real quick when these guys introduce themselves, these guys don't play much defense since they only introduce themselves as offensive players, and these guys play on both sides of the ball a little bit more because they play both sides. So, you know, it's been a good summer. It's been a long off season. You know, we had a good finish to the season last year, which gave us a little momentum going into this year. I feel like that, you know, we're in the third year of our program this year, and I think that the one thing that as we go from year to year to year, I just think it takes time when you're rebuilding programs. And, you know, even when I went back to Ohatchee, and, you know, it took to about our third year before we started seeing a lot of fruits of our labor. That didn't mean we didn't work extremely hard in years 1 and 2. Matter of fact, we did work hard in years 1 and 2, which helps lead you to your third year. But I felt like it took us all the way to year 3 to finally get over that hurdle. And, you know, I felt like we owed it to our senior classes the last 2 years to do the best job we could, give them every opportunity that we could to try to be successful. And in a lot of ways we were. Sometimes those weren't always on the field. We had you know, that first year we were 2-8. There might have been a game or two we felt like we let get away. You know, last year we were 3-7, and there were more than a few that we felt like got away. And so it's getting over that hurdle and being able to win a game that, you know, that nobody really thinks you're going to win, that kind of puts you over that hurdle. I know in 2016, obviously we had a great year at Ohatchee. But we were all the way into game 4 before I was standing on the sideline and said, we might be a pretty good football team. And sometimes it takes that. And, because these guys right here growing up at the high school level, we haven't had as much success as maybe that they want to have. And so we have worked toward putting ourselves in a position for them to have success this year. And I was really encouraged by the off-season work. I was really encouraged by the attitude. I was really encouraged and have been encouraged by the mentality. I'll just say this. It's gotten better every year, but it's a lot different this year. And we've got 12 seniors, and out of those 12 seniors, we just don't have one unselfish young man. And, we're blessed that these 12 guys are working together and leading our young guys.
Coach, could you talk about the numbers in your program? Are they where you want them to be at this point in time in your third season? And this being your third season, starters coming back offensively and defensively for the Yellow Jackets this year?
I knew you'd ask me that. Starters, I'm not sure which ones. We'll go down the line and the ones I can think of, but they're like chess pieces. We keep moving people around to try to get the best fit, and sometimes guys might have started that they aren't going to start, and some guys are starting that maybe they didn't start. But numbers-wise, we're right about where I thought we would be. I mean, obviously, our reclassification number was very low. We went from 230 or whatever down to about 218, and so we have some smaller classes that we have to figure in, but I think we ended up with what I call upperclassmen, 28 guys in 10 through 12. We've got another 16 ninth graders with some of those that are going to contribute. So we're right at 44, so we're in that mid-40 range, which is about where we've been consistently. We're going to, as a smaller school, we did this when I was at Ohatchee. I know Welborn and them do this also. We're going to play, 7, 8, 9 games just because our numbers lend us to about 30 to 31, 7, 8, 9, and about, right around 30, taking a couple of those ninth graders, 10, 11, 12. So we feel like we've got good numbers for 2 solid football teams, and we're looking forward to doing that. Carter has started the last couple of years for us at tight end. He's going to be there. Joe has been at the tackle. I'm moving him to guard, but he's still going to be starting. Baylor's working some at fullback for us, but he'll be definitely starting on the defensive line. Aiden is going to work at our backside tight end and another defensive lineman. All these guys, I say these guys, these 2 guys could see significant playing time on both sides. These guys are more one way. If I could keep my linemen more one way, I'd like that. And so we're working at that. I think our depth numbers across the line are probably as good as they've ever been. So we've got a chance to be able to kind of platoon those guys. The one thing that is kind of neat is, today I brought mostly linemen. I mean, these guys are tight ends, tackles, guards, et cetera. I think that's going to be the strength of our football team, is building it around that. Aaron Mann's not here today. I would have brought Aaron, but Aaron was ill. But Aaron obviously has rushed for over 1,000 yards for us last year, played in the backfield. He'll be back in the backfield again. But Jake Boggs and Hayden Hudson and Alex Hudson and Hayden Watson and Bronner McMurray and Lee Crowder, we've got a lot of guys that are going to help us in the backfield. So I'm excited about that. I feel like when we plug them in depth-wise, it's worked real well. Also, I'm looking at a couple other seniors, and Dawson Roach and Preston Reeves and JT Hancock. Those guys are going to help us across the offensive line also. Junior will be Kevin Rodriguez at the offensive center. Quarterback, we've got a bunch of them there, but Aiden Johnson's probably leading the way right now. He's able to do what we ask him to do and does a good job at that. On the defensive side, again, these 2 guys are playing defensive tackles inside. McMurray and Watson are on the outside. Inside at linebacker, we've got Gomez and Clemens, but we're working a multitude of guys there. We even have a few freshmen that are helping us there. At the outside linebacker, we've got Hudson working there, and then I'm not sure who's working on the other side. again, my focus when I'm over there watching, making sure they're all going in the right spots. But again, Aiden and them are helping us back in the secondary. Connor Montgomery's another senior that's helping us in the secondary and does all our kicking and punting. Crowder's helping us again at cornerback. So we've got, I think when we did the two-way the other day, we've got 3 or 4 guys that are going to have to help us two-way, we think, that, right off the top. So, we're trying to keep that as many one-way guys as possible, especially with the heat and the depth part.
This is for the players. Coach and I were talking a few weeks ago about kind of planting the seeds, and some grow faster than others. But you guys have worked your butts off the last couple of years and put a lot of hard work in. And you're saying that this is a year that really he expects to see some of those seeds blossoming and some growth and a sense of excitement to it. Do you all 4 feel the same way that there really might be something different this year and might be something special, and you can the goals that you have that you set are within sight for the season? Starting with Joe.
Absolutely. I believe that we do have something special going on this year. Absolutely.
I agree too. Just the way everybody comes in on workout days, everybody's locked in and focused on getting better. I think we do have a chance to do something special.
Our strength has improved a lot. Our speed, our discipline, our mentality. Everybody's had a tough upbringing, but it's gotten a lot better. It's improved, and I'm proud of everybody.
Same with what he said. The mentality has improved a lot over, especially this year, and I can tell with how we've been working out and the off season, how we've all been training, and especially I'm just really proud of the young guys and how well they've done. I think this is the best they've been since I've started.
And I'm gonna say, Coach Terry's done a great job in the weight room there, but the other coaches have too. The work ethic in the weight room in the off season has been the best so far.
Coach, you had Welborn, Weaver, and Sachs back in the region. Seems like you coaches just have been together forever. And you're at Glencoe now, Steve at Westbrook, Miller at Piedmont. But just break down this region, which is arguably, 9, you got Locust Fork and J.B. Pennington as well. They're outside teams. Just kind of break it down for us.
Well, the 3 teams that were on the mountain went back up to the mountain, and they brought in 4 more teams that are all quality football teams. Pennington's going to be a well-coached football team always, and they always have been. From when Coach Cassidy was there, and now they've moved on, but they're always going to be a well-coached, disciplined football team. Locust Fork probably has the best team that they've had in years. They had a great team last year, and a lot of those guys are coming back with the exception of very few. So they've got a lot of guys coming back. Sachs and Welborn, they're old hands. They've been there a long time. Things don't change. When you learn how to win, you learn how to win, and those guys are going to be there. And then, of course, when you start back down Weaver and Piedmont and us, and you get over there with Westbrook and Ohatchee, all those are used to beating on each other. The one thing that's always been common in this region is that there's never an off week. And then you go to a 9-team region where now you got 8 region games instead of 7. So it's just made it that much tougher because when you have a 7-team region, there's only 3 teams that aren't going to the playoffs. But when you have a 9-team region, there's 5 teams that aren't going to the playoffs. So it makes it much more difficult to qualify to get in the playoffs because of a 9-team region. But so the 4 teams that come out of this thing are going to be quality football teams, and they all are already. But you're going to have 4 teams again that could make a long run in 3A like they have in the past. The thing that is I think is going to be evident is I don't think you're going to see a bunch of teams go through with just they just had 1 loss or 2 losses. You could have some teams in the playoffs that are right there with 3 or 4 losses in the region. You could get a lot of people beating each other.
This is for the players. Coach Martin is always a positive guy. He reads constantly. He's always thinking outside the box. He's always a positive human being to be around. What's it like playing under him, being around him each and every day and him kind of mentoring you, not just on the field but in life, to have a guy like that that's such a positive influence?
Man, he's one of the greatest guys I've ever met. Probably my favorite coach ever. I mean, this
You're
guy.
starting. You don't have to say that.
Hey, I'm being honest. He's probably one of the most motivational coaches I've ever had, ever. And, I mean, I can't think of anything else that can describe it.
Just going off what he said, he's been a great coach. My family's close to him. He coached my cousin at Ohatchee. Just a great person to be around. He's always positive. He's always pushed us to be the best we can do. Just a great coach and a great guy.
He's definitely been one of the greatest in a long time. He's been a very good father figure to a lot of us, especially me. He's very upbringing, uplifting, and he helps us a lot. He pushes us, and our discipline is a lot better because of him. And I just appreciate everything he's done for us.
I appreciate how much time he spent on us and how he sees the vision that he has for us. And I also appreciate just the confidence that he's given me as a player and then also just as a person as well.
Coach, sitting here listening to those guys, I was going to ask you the question. This is either 31, 32, 33. You've been doing it a long time, but that's why you keep doing it, right?
That's why you do it. Wins and losses, I mean, it's not always about that. I mean, I understand that's what helps you keep your job. I do. I mean, I'm not stupid. This is actually year 40. All right, it's year 39 in high school. I coached 1 year as a GA in college right after I finished playing, and then this is my 39th year in high school. This will be my 32nd year as a head football coach. It's kind of one of those mic drop moments. After they say those kind of things, it's almost embarrassing because, all you want to do is be a good mentor and a good role model for those guys. You want to be there for them to talk about anything, and it doesn't always have to be about football. I mean, I probably stay on Aiden more than anybody on our football team, but it's always in a very funny, uplifting way. He knows, that I'm kidding him at a lot of times, but the bottom line is to have those relationships with these guys that are like my sons. I have two sons. One is 30. He just turned 36, and he's a Marine gunny sergeant, so he's a lot tougher than I am. But I have another one that's just laid back. He's a manager at the Waffle House out in Phoenix, and but the one thing is I want these guys to kind of have the mentality of that they're like our sons, that they can come to you in any time for anything. It doesn't have to be football. They still walk around on eggshells sometimes, and I don't know why, because I don't always try to portray that. But, they're a great bunch of guys. Not only these 4, but the 12 seniors we've got. And I say this all the time. Football is not a sport for everybody. But as a coach, I always tell the guys that don't even play football, look, if you don't play football because it's not for everybody, I'm still going to love you. I'm still going to talk to you in the hallway. I'm still going to ask you this question, that question, this question, but it has nothing to do with football. And that's kind of how I like to be with these guys. When we're off the field, I want it to be everything but football. But when we're on the field, it's football and not anything else. So they've done a good job of compartmentalizing it, and they're going to be a good football team. And they're going to be somebody that people can be proud of. And just because not only are they good football players and they're going to have a good football season, but they're good young people. They're all of them. I don't have a daughter, but if I had a daughter, they could date everybody here except Aiden. All right, but if I had one, they could. I'm kidding, Aiden. But no, it's just a pleasure to coach these guys.
Coach, we appreciate it, guys. Thanks for coming today. We wish you the best of luck this year.
I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.
Go ahead.
Hey, guys, I'll tell you once again, media, the meal's for you guys too, anybody here. Be sure and, again, we'll thank local Joes for doing it. We'll continue with Etowah County Media Day, and the Hokes Bucket Eagles are up next, and Coach Mike Robertson. And Coach, if you would let the guys introduce themselves, or you introduce them in their position, and then some opening statement about the Eagles this year.
Okay, I'm gonna let them do it. Go ahead, start there, Anderson.
Anderson Morgan, I'm a senior, play safety and receiver.
Connor Ford, senior, linebacker, fullback.
Logan Wyman, senior, cornerback and wide receiver.
Clayton Helms, senior, O-line, D-line.
And I also have a couple of guys with me, Lane Ford, Mayor Scott Reeves. I want to recognize them. They're in our booster club. Meant a lot to me and our school, and they bleed green and white like most of us do. But anyway, talking about this year, we had a good summer workout. We got 64 players, got 12 seniors. This is 4 of the 12. It was very hard to pick 4 out of the 12, by the way. I talked to a couple of you about that. But had a good summer. We're excited, not excited like going to 4A again. We're back in the 4A Central instead of the 3A Central Division. But we're excited about that. I've told these guys we've been there before, and people look, woo, tough schedule, but it is a tough schedule. But it's a real good bunch. Seniors, been 4 years. They've all stuck together, so we're excited about it. And like I said, my staff's still together. Still got all of our coaches together, and excited about that. Great staff. Start with Brian Sexton, our defense coordinator, Jake Ball, Brad Robertson, Taylor Morgan, who kind of heads up our workout and strength conditioning. But got a good staff. Been there most of the workout this summer. So anyway, that's where we are. My wife told me this morning, do not talk all the time. Let someone else talk, because I do like to talk. And she's corrected me on that, Chris. We know now that we're together at the Hall of Fame. But good to see you guys. It's hard to believe it's already starting over again. But I'm going to do what my wife said. I'm going to let you guys talk.
Well, I'm going to ask you a question about returning starters this year on the team, and OTAs, team camps, 7-on-7, the things you've done this summer.
Well, we've done that on our own. I'm not a big 7-on-7 as I used to be a little bit. I have some reasoning, so I'm not going to get into that. But we got really about 5 or 6 on each side. You got Clayton down here. Clayton with a guard now. He's back to his natural position of a center position. But we've got 5 or 6 on each side. Some experience that helps. We had a little short spring training. A lot of people drop spring, but I like having it. It kind of weeds out who really don't want to play. I heard Coach Martin mention that. But we feel like that we've got some experience. We went out and did some on our own, and we could line up right now and play. Not play very well, but they know what to do and where to go. It's just getting them in shape and fine tuning a little bit.
This is for the players, starting with Anderson. Talk about, as group seniors, what kind of top couple of goals you set in terms of not just wins and losses, but what you wanted to accomplish during the offseason, and maybe in terms of leadership, helping out the young players and do what you can to kind of make this year a special one.
Yeah, well, obviously in the offseason, everyone wants to get bigger, stronger, faster. So we've done that. But I'd say as far as goals, we haven't played a home playoff game our entire career. So when we talk, we're talking about we need to be top 2 in the region so we can play a home playoff game first round. And then as far as leadership, Coach Rob always tells us that we're not a coach, but we need to lead these kids by example. And I think we've done a great job. We have a bunch of freshmen, some that are going to help our team this year. So, yeah, it's been a pretty great summer.
Same thing he said. We've came in and we've gotten bigger, faster, stronger. We've done all the things that we've needed to do, and now we just got to provide and lead and all that stuff. And yeah.
I think it's like far as goals, winning the region. We've never done that since I've played, and being a leader, everybody gets faster, stronger. Seeing all the younger guys do it really motivates all of us to be a better leader.
Yeah, this offseason, just getting bigger, faster, and stronger, coming together as a team. As far as goals, winning region or hosting a home playoff game.
Coach, speak on these four gentlemen sitting on each side of you. What is it about them that sets them apart? Why are they chosen to be here today?
Well, there's different reasons. That's a great question, and I actually lost some sleep trying to, decide out of the 12 that we have. But that's a really put me on the spot question. I could have picked any of the 12 really, and been, fine with that. Just a little bit here and there. Anderson started, I guess, since he's a freshman, and these other threes worked really hard to accomplish what they have. But I left 8 good ones at home. I really did. But no particular reason. Just I've kind of pick and choose. We got a couple others going to other things, and But good question. But any of the 12 I could have had, Bo, would have been just as well as them.
Guys, I'll ask you the question. As senior leaders, there's 12 seniors on the team. I know you guys probably have talked about goals for this year. Could you talk about maybe team goals and things that you as an individuals would like to achieve during your senior year?
Yeah, like we said, we want to host a playoff game first round, so we need to be top 2 in the region. As far as personal goals, I guess I want to improve as a leader because I understand that we have a bunch of young guys that look up to us. And I don't know, maybe first team All-State, that'd be nice also. So.
Obviously, make playoffs, have a winning record, and his personal goals, be able to just become a better football player all around.
Like Anderson said, be a better leader as a personal goal, but as a team goal, make it past the first round of playoffs because there's nothing better than playoff football.
Personal goals, just make like all county, but as a team, I just want to play together as a team and just make a run in the playoffs.
Coach, you've already talked about moving up to 4A Region 6 and how tough it is, but you've got an open date that first week in week 0, but Southside and Etowah, back-to-back, 2 big Etowah County rivals there to open up. Speak about those 2 games coming up, big county matchups.
Well, Southside's been a traditional opening day game and opening game for the whole year, but that's a money game for us. Hope we have a big crowd. But it's been a tradition even back when I played, and Lane and Scott sitting back there, we've always played Southside. Bigger school, but that's okay. That's the way it goes. And then Etowah, first time we played, someone said since '85. I've never coached against Etowah. Coach Payne, I think the last game we played them, we beat them late. I was offensive coordinator. We threw a double split-end pass. Jay Shields to Scott Shields, 2 of the Shields boys there coming in play. That's the best I remember about Etowah, but I know they've had a great tradition, great runs in the past, and new coach. That's one of the things about moving up and changing. We always face these new coaching staffs, and that's you got to go back and do more homework. They know what we're going to do. You do too, Jeff, okay? But you never know. But yeah, it's going to be tough opening there. I like to get off to a good start, but that doesn't mean as much really as how you finish. So I hope we finish better than we did last year.
For about, 29 years now? Is it 29 or 30?
29.
29. You've been doing about the same thing. It's been pretty successful.
It has. I've changed a little bit more than you think. Coach Ball Jake, he kidded me, state championship quarterback. Obviously now my son-in-law. He kids all the time. If we'd had this much offense in, we won state championship, maybe we would have won easier. But we do a lot more we used to, but it's still blocking and tackling, guys. You can say what you want to. Blocking and tackling.
I'll ask the guys this question. Coach has talked about 12 seniors. Sounds like you got a great group of seniors, and I'm sure most of y'all played 3 or 4 years or longer together. How special is it to you to represent your teammates, your school, your community here today?
Well, it's awesome when you're a kid. You grow up, you watch the high school games. You played little league football games on that same field. So it's awesome to feel like you're the big guy now. So it's a great feeling.
I love it. Always getting to grow up, watch high school football games. Always getting to hear Hokes Bluff stories. I love it. It's fun.
It's like they said, you've been watching it since you're a little kid, and now it's your turn, so you get to cherish it, and it's been an honor to be able to do it.
Yeah, I don't think there's a better place on earth to represent. I don't think there's better people to represent. It's just an awesome feeling to be able to represent Hokes Bluff.
Coach, we've been at this a long time. Of course, I decided to get out, and you're still doing it. But this is not a question. I just want to thank you for what all you represent, not just for Hokes Bluff and the Hokes Bluff community, but for us old school coaches. And I appreciate and thank you for doing it the right way.
Well, I appreciate that. I've had a lot of great support. I told someone this past summer, we were talking about early this summer, that I've been very lucky, go to Hokes Bluff and get to come back home and coach. I had a education professor at Athens State, go Bears, by the way, if you don't know where Athens is, Athens, Alabama. But he told me never go home to coach, so I broke that rule. And he said, don't get involved in local politics, and I'm running around with the mayor. So I'm breaking both those rules. But I've been really fortunate. Obviously, it's the players and the parents and so forth. But I agree with Clayton. I've had other opportunities. I'm not going to sit here and lie, not to boast. But I appreciate your kind words. You're first class, too. I watched you. And I think doing things right, I was kidding. Does anyone here remember the last question Coach Saban got on his last press conference? That he and Herbaugh was talking about. He was talking about doing things the right way, and it was a shot at Michigan. And Coach Saban just said, well, there's a right way to do it, and ethics should always be a part of sport. And that was Coach Saban. You can look it up. That was the night before the game. So, but I appreciate your kind words. Like I said, I've had such great support, and still do, and that's why I'm still doing it. But these are the main reasons. I heard Coach Martin, this is the reason I'm still coaching. I'm not rich, but I've got enough money probably. Got a great wife. I don't have to do anything to impress her anymore, but good family. So, but I still do enjoy it. I like teaching them something. And I'm also, again, Coach, you're talking about we're old guys now. I enjoy the old players coming back, seeing me now. Coach Payne told me that would be special, and it is.
Coach, you kind of touched on what I was about to ask. You talk about Scott back here behind us, the mayor. The community out there, it's a little bit different in most places. It's probably the most tight-knit around. Can you speak on that over the course of your career, not just, recently, but throughout the ups and downs you've had throughout your career, good seasons, great seasons, won a state, and then you've had some down years as well. But through all of that community's always been there.
Yes, sir. And that 3 head coaches, Coach Reed, I think, started in 70, and Coach Payne, and then myself. So, and of course, I played for Coach Reed and coached under Coach Payne. He was assistant. But yeah, we once had a board member called us the Hokes Bluff Mafia. That was about 15 years ago. He said, we got to do something out there. But you're right, Bo. One of the things I'm proud of that we went through a couple of years there. We won in 9, and not proud of those years, but we had great kids those years and so forth. And actually had a website set up, firerob.com. You want to look it up. It's history. 4 years later, along came some guys, got a break on the schedule a little bit, some really good players. You were there with us, Bo, and they named the stadium after him. So you're talking about going from the Owl House to the Penthouse over about 4 or 5 years. But again, I've coached the same, but we've always had players. I can't name a year that I've been a part of Hokes Bluff, and I'm talking about as a player. Lane back there was a senior, and I was a sophomore. But we pride ourselves, hopefully, of playing hard, doing it the right way. But I've been very fortunate and really feel good about being from Hokes Bluff. I'm very proud of that. You go somewhere in the state, where you from? I don't say Gadsden. I say Hokes Bluff. I say Hokes Bluff. Nothing against Gadsden, but we're Hokes Bluff, and I think that's the way I look at it.
Coach, on a more somber note, can you give us an update on the field goal post?
The goal post was corrected. These guys know that. But anyway, it's going to need a little touch-up paint, which last year the mayor back there helped us paint them. But the goalposts, while I was on vacation, if y'all don't know the story of vacation, one of our players' mama wanted to get their son on the goalpost, and it stayed tilted for about a week there. So, Josh, we're in good shape. Thank you for asking. It is.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming again this year. Thanks, guys, for coming. Good luck to the Eagles this year. Thanks.
Thank you, guys, and appreciate you guys.
Yes, sir. You got forward? All right. Good. How are you? Guys, if when you're asked a question, you just make sure you're in front of the microphone, okay? We appreciate it.
Hey, make sure we set up straight.
All right, we'll continue with Etowah County Football Media Day. Coosa Christian, Coach Mark O'Brien up. Coach, I believe year number 5 for you at Coosa.
Yeah, this is it, year 5.
Year number 5. So if you'd either introduce the players, let them introduce themselves, and then some opening comments about what you've done this summer there at Coosa.
Yeah, I'll let guys.
Grayson Malone, Jr. I'm a cornerback and a wide receiver.
Joseph is junior, and I do running back.
John David Justice, senior, and I play quarterback.
Kate Mickler, I play middle linebacker and some DN.
Yeah, we've been pretty busy all summer. We worked the kids 3 days a week in June, 4 days a week in July. Now we're going to 5 days a week starting this week. So we did a few 7-on-7s, and we've kept on pretty busy for sure.
Coach, could you talk about numbers on the team, starters coming back from last year's team?
Yeah, I believe, I may be wrong, but I believe it's about 16 starters back. We have a lot of juniors, we got more juniors than we do upcoming seniors. So we've got good experience though. So what was your second question? I'm sorry.
About total numbers on the team.
Yeah, this is the first year we've divided the team. So now we have a true junior high that goes with junior high, and we got a varsity that stays with the varsity. And so we probably have 35 kids varsity only.
Coach, we were talking a few days ago about having to move up to 2A for the competitive balance, and you said you not only accept that you had to do it, but you welcome the challenge of competing in Class 2A. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, I do it for, I as you know, Chris, I own a business, and so I do everything from a business standpoint now. And, 1A just doesn't pay the bills, and so from that aspect of it, it's really hard to run a really good program with 1A budget, just because the gates are horrible. And so I think that's one of the reasons, and that's another reason why I schedule up for competition for sure, but also it's just one of those games can equal an entire gate for the year on a 1A gate. And so just from the dollars and cents value of it, it makes sense for us to move up,
Coach, Pierce County, Georgia, 5, Tuscaloosa Academy, Pell City. If there's a small school with a tougher schedule, I want to meet the coach. I don't think I will. Talk about the non-region schedule you put together.
Yeah, I was telling John Hoder this a while ago. Me and Rush was together this weekend, and he's like, "You're a dang idiot," And I said, "Yeah, I probably am, but so it is a tough schedule. It's a very challenging schedule. But if you can get through that gauntlet with no injuries, you're a lot better football team for the playoffs. There ain't no doubt."
Each one of you players speak on this. Going all the way semis, then semis, championship game, then championship game up 14-0, losing, having that bitter taste in your mouth. How much more motivation do you have coming into this season, being so close last year?
I mean, starting from Pickens County, it just made me want to work more harder and each and every day, and it gave me the motivation just to how to just keep going forward and just don't stop and know that we can get it.
For my opinion, we need to work together and be together like family and work hard like brothers.
I think after having those feelings, those are like one of the worst feelings you could possibly have as a high school athlete, and that surely will motivate you to work harder and not let that happen again.
Yeah, John was right. That's probably the worst thing that could probably happen in high school football, but we got another chance this year with all the starters coming back, and we're looking to do it again and win this time.
Coach, underlined story with that gentleman sitting on your right, our left, Joseph East. Last year, his first year of football, but he was thrown into a role where he had to be your feature back due to injuries and things like that. Can you talk about his work ethic that you've seen since he's gotten here, and a little bit about his backstory and how special of a kid that is right there beside you?
Yeah, there's a lot to break down right there, but for you guys that don't know, he's from Togo, okay? And he was adopted by one of our families that actually attends the church. And I'll say this without merit, he's truly, in all the years I've done this, he's one of the best kids I've ever seen or been around, and his work ethic is unbelievable. And he's grateful, and he's grateful to be an American, and we're grateful, and it's an honor just to be able to coach him, because kids like him, that's why you do it. He's the most genuine human being you'll ever meet in your life. And he's very, very grateful, and I'm proud to call him one of my players for sure.
Coach, over the last 3 years, you've kind of went from the hunter to the hunted now. Is that something that you use, you remind them of every day? And as players, is that something that y'all feel? Does it feel different to you, or is it just business as usual?
I'll let them answer first, then I'll answer.
Me, it's just business as usual.
For me, you came together like family.
I think for sure we used to be the team that had nothing to lose, and we all wanted to upset all the other teams and stuff. But now it's kind of changed roles, and it's kind of swapped the roles, and it's just a lot different.
Well, for me, it's just I got here last year, and I was coming from a school that was probably just the same as Coosa, and then started changing the role, and it feels good to be on top now.
Yeah, for me, it doesn't change anything that I've done. I've coached this way since day one. I think for anyone to be very successful, they must stay in the same routine of their life. And if it's a lazy routine, get out of that lazy routine for sure. But I do the same thing, and these guys will tell you, I do the same thing exactly every single day. But my motivation behind this was I needed a challenge. You know, when I took this, it was in bad shape, and I was kind of bored. And you know, and just to be honest with you, I don't like where public schools have went. I think they're woke, and I hate wokeness. And I wanted to leave a legacy, I guess you could say, I love my town in Gadsden. It's very, very important to me for this city to be very successful. And in addition to that, I really believe the future of this country depends on Christian private schools. I don't believe there's any doubt. These public schools are woke, and they're disgusting to me. So that's my reason.
Coach, you had 4 All-State players last year, but surprisingly, J.D. Justice was not one of them. So why are enough people not talking about your quarterback and talk about who J.D. Justice is as your quarterback?
Well, I'll tell you what I think about J.D. There's no way under God's green earth I would allow him to date my daughter if I didn't think the world of him, okay? Because me and my daughter had signed a pact back when she was 4 years old that she couldn't date till she was 42. And I made the exception to that rule with him, and I look at him like one of my own. I love him very much, and I could not be more happy I couldn't pick a better dude for my daughter to date. And I don't care if he gets All-State, All-County, he makes All-American. I don't care. I want John David to be John David, and I don't want John David to change. Because John David's a fine human being, and he's going to be very successful in life. And, you know, if that continues to go down that road, I'd be the proudest father-in-law on the planet.
Coach, you talked about the fulfillment you get isn't so much from winning games. As a matter of fact, you said sometimes you don't even enjoy coaching in the games, but it's a process, and seeing the improvement in the off season and the summer, and seeing these kids reach their personal goals. Talk a little about that.
Yep. I don't enjoy Friday nights at all. I've been clear to that many, many times. Matter of fact, me and Bo shares a mutual hobby together. We hang out in the first week of June. We've done it for 2 years. It'll be 3 years coming up next year. Bo, that's what I enjoy doing. But this is much more important. As I told Josh, I believe our country's under attack, and we can sit there and turn a blind eye to it, or we can sit there and hit it in the face. And I'm going to hit it in the face. And that's my motivation for everything I do here. It's time to give back. I'm 51. I'm not getting any younger. And when I die, I've got to be able to explain to the Lord what I've done. And I want the Lord to be very proud of me. And that's what's most important to me. And I don't care what anyone else thinks. I'm here to serve the Lord and the Lord only. And how I get to there is how we get to there. But my job is to put this place on the map because I believe this country's under attack. And if we don't face it, we're in trouble. We're in a lot of trouble.
This question is for the guys. Guys, talk about team goals this year, which I'm sure one of them state championship game, but team goals and also maybe individual goals for each of you.
Some individual goals, you know, I just want to at least be with my brothers, work harder with them, and get better each and every single day. And some team goals, you know, try to get that blue map.
For individual goal, like do my job, and for team goal, is like come together, and like the Bible say, where 1 and 2 people come in my name, and I will be with him. So like when we come together like family and we work together, I don't think something can stop us if we work together.
Team goals definitely win a state championship and also win a region. Last year we kind of got screwed out of that, so that's what we definitely want to do. And then an individual goal, I want to become a better leader for the team.
We'll just start with some team goals. I mean, last year we had the goal to let up no points on defense, and I'm sure that's going to be the same goal. But also come together because we're struggling right now as a team, but we're going to get there. But some individuals, just win state, all-state again, and try and be better than Cleto Bryant.
2A Region 6, Coach, earlier you talked about your non-region games, and they're very tough. But you're going into a region, teams that you hadn't played a lot, so you're going to see different teams. So talk about your region schedule, and we'll wrap things up with that.
Yeah, you probably know more about the region than I do. I really don't know a lot about it. I know there's some history with some success through some of those teams, but I don't really, I'm just going to work every day the same. I don't care the opponent. We'll just work every day the same. And as long as we played our potential, then we've achieved our best, and then I'm good. It's when we get complacent. I'm not very good, and I'm not very nice to be around. And these guys, I tell you that. When we get complacent, lazy, I hate that. That's one thing I cannot stand. It makes me sick to see a lazy human being. And will not be tolerated in this program. And so we just need to worry about ourselves. We don't need to worry about who we're playing. We just need to work hard, work with all our guts, and then to see what happens on Friday night around 10 o'clock.
Anybody else? All right, thanks, Coach. Thanks, guys. Good luck to Coosa this year.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Do you want us any certain place?
You go sitting in the middle.
Okay.
And then y'all can get the chair wherever y'all want to sit. Just
Put the two big guys together.
and when you talk, please get in the microphone.
You're going to have to, like, zoom the camera out. Put it in there.
Oh, they will.
No, I'm just Dude, that's so good.
All right. All right, let's continue with the Southside Panthers. Well, we'll wait. Chris has got to get a picture. Y'all smile. Smile big. Now, did you get it wide enough for the two big guys? So they already talked about the big guys on the end over here. So, welcome to Southside Panthers. Coach Ben Stewart stepping in first year. Coach, if you'd let the guys introduce themselves or you introduce them, then some opening comments from you, we'd appreciate it.
Yeah, they got it. We'll start over here on my left.
Jordan Brown, class of 25, receiver.
Javin Brown, class of 25, offensive line.
Makeda Wright, class of 25, D-line.
Yeah. So, really excited this year. This is also my first head job. Coming from Oxford last year. Last past 3 seasons, offense coordinator. Stepping into a role where Coach Holcomb, he really did a great job, I would say, reviving the program. Playoffs past 4 years in a row, never been done in school history. I'm looking to continue that run. But, when you got guys like this up here, it's really easy to step into a role like this. And I'll be completely honest with you. As we were talking earlier, our offensive line, it may be the biggest I've ever seen besides IMG and St. John's College. And that's actually on both fronts, too, with the defensive line as well. But the biggest thing about this job, what makes it so fun and interesting is the kids that I have to work with. Every day they come in ready to work, ready to get better. No matter what the circumstance is, they're always ready to to fight. That just makes it easier for me too. So like I said, we were talking today, Monday, we're ready to roll.
Well, Coach, talk about the things that you've done this summer, 7-on-7 OTAs. Of course, I know you're new coach, and maybe starters back from last year, maybe in different places, but how many do you have returning?
It's a kind of a loaded question. So I'm not really sure. How many guys did y'all lose last year? Not lose, but during the season starters. At one point, I think there was right around 40 different kids who had started a football game. So it's kind of a loaded question. I can tell you we bring back all 11 on both sides, but that wouldn't be true. Jordy finished the year out at quarterback. This year he'll be a receiver. So technically he's returning starter, but we don't have a returning starting quarterback. But I think on offense, adding it up, what I would consider legit returning starters would be 8 on offense, and then 8 on defense as well, or 7 on defense as well. And so, like I said, just when you bring that many guys back, there's always expectations that come with that. However, like I tell them, when expectations arise, that means somebody expects something out of you. You rise to the occasion, or you fall to it. And every day they come to work, and a lot of places, it's not about winning; it's about sustaining success. And these guys, they haven't had success very, very long, but they know how to work towards sustaining success and not just being happy with it.
This is for the players. I already talked to Coach about this, but how exciting is it? Because I know some of the guys there, maybe work or go to church and then play in Gadsden City this year for a region game too.
And obviously it's a big rivalry in the community. I haven't been here my whole life, so I don't understand really how big it is. But I know how much the other guys are invested in that and how much it means to them. So, it's a big deal for us. And it's the first time that Southside's playing Gadsden City. I know we played Gadsden High before, but this is really, truly the first real rivalry game since then.
Yeah, I would definitely say I'm excited for it, but I don't really know how big of a game it is because, people in the community, they, if I ever see them, just out and about, they'll tell me about how they're excited for it. But, I wasn't here my freshman year, so I don't really know, the rivalry or anything like that.
Yeah, I wasn't here either my freshman year or anything like that, but I think it'll be a big game because Southside always packs out the stands, and so does Gadsden City. So double it.
Coach, with your pedigree, who you've coached in and around, whether it be Josh Niblett, Sam Adams, I don't know how to word this, there's always expectations, coming in the Southside, but it's not like you haven't seen this before. Maybe from being the head coaching standpoint, yes, but you've seen major programs run at a very efficient high level, and you've been around some very, very, I'm talking upper 1% coaches your entire career. Can you talk about your background and how that's kind of helped you with the expectations, with running a bigger school program, and now something, it's not like you haven't seen this before, so to speak?
Yeah, so it was funny. I think one of the first couple of days that the guys were talking, somebody asked me if it was a parent or one of them asked, they're like, "Oh, you go to the region with Gadsden City and Fort Payne," and it's nothing against those guys. I said, "Well, we don't have IMG and St. John's College and Thompson and Hewitt on the schedule, so they're not going to roll anybody 10 5-stars out there, and we got to go up against them." But at the same time, and it's a cliche, but I would take these guys right now. They wouldn't back down at all. But in saying that, being at those programs, and let me start by saying this, and I think Coach Niblett and Coach Adams would say this as well. They're great programs, but it's the kids who make the program. I truly and fully believe that. Year in and year out. If you go back and look, over the years, I would say my first year at Hoover, we have 2 guys that are in the NFL right now, one that potentially could be in the NFL, and we didn't win the state championship. You go back, and they went, I believe, 30-0 in over 2 seasons. I believe they only had 3 guys who signed college scholarships, Power 5, D1 scholarships. Again, it's just a testament to the kids they have. But in saying that, it's about the men that came before them, too. And so, Coach Niblett and Coach Adams, they're kind of 2 totally different people, but they stand for the same thing. And it's big for us. Family is a big thing. I know Coach Holcomb, he had it like this, we have it like this. We always spell family with a 1, right? And, forget about me, I love you, that mentality. When you take that into that, that's when things start to change. And it's really about building a foundation. And the good thing for me is, the foundation has kind of been laid, and it's not just by Coach Holcomb, but it's the guys before him. Like I tell these guys, it's our choice so we can pave it in pavement or dirt or gold. But again, getting back to those guys, it's, to say coaching under those guys, I'll never be able to repay them for everything they did. And again, they're better men than they are coaches. And I honestly believe that's the reason I'm here today is because of the things they taught me, not just about football, but about life and how to treat people and handle your day-to-day business.
Just for each one of you guys, what have you guys learned about Coach? And we kind of asked him the questions, what he's learned about you since he's been there. What have you guys individually learned about Coach and his leadership to this point in the brief time you guys have been together?
Be careful what you say.
So, not to make a comparison here, but everyone knows about Coach Holcomb and his success he had, how good of a coach he was. But I would say the transition has been seamless. Coach Stewart has stepped it up, if not matched it, as far as workouts and everything, and keeping the standard what it is, and he understands what that is, and he's trying to instill that in us, and it's up to us to keep that.
I think that Coach Stewart's a very hard worker, and I think he's very knowledgeable, and he's definitely stepped up everything in our program, like workouts, agilities, practice, all that.
Also, he kind of can, from being an offensive coach, he kind of knows what for the offensive line, he knows what the offensive line go through, so he can kind of reason with us more. So it's a lot easier when we come onto the sideline and we're talking to him about what they're doing. Well, he knows if say someone blitz off the edge, he knows how to fix that. And if you have a defensive coach, it might not be as easy, but with him, it's been really, really easy swapping, going from Coach Holcomb to him. It's been pretty easy.
And the big thing for me, and you can ask these guys, and I'm real with it. I'm real in relationships. I like to personally, know, try to know each and every one of my players. I know that's, typically not going to happen quick. But I think when you build a relationship and you build a genuine relationship with these guys and not just know them as number 11 or number 10 or whatever. Aren't you 10 this year, McKay? Change to 10 or 77. But when you know that, his dad owns Brown's outboards, and you know what I'm saying, just little things like that. When you start to get to know people, it's a lot easier to fight for each other. And like I said, that's just a big thing for me. Is like I said, I know we keep going and talking about the on the field stuff and the trends. I think like what Doherty was mentioning with the transition stuff, that makes it a lot easier when you actually know and love each other and care for each other. It makes you want to do it more.
Any of you guys from Rainbow City?
No.
I am.
All Southside guys?
I'm from Rainbow City. I moved to Southside recently.
But you live in Rainbow City?
No, not anymore.
Not anymore, but, well, Coach knows where I'm going with this. We talked about, probably it might be the majority of kids are close to or are from Rainbow City, go to Southside High School. As Coach is saying, he doesn't, not that it does, but he wants to make sure that, the community of Rainbow City doesn't get lost in the shuffle. Talk a little about that, Coach.
Yeah, kind of like we talked about the other day, with that, with me not being from here, right down the interstate, but we not being from here, I see no difference. I know there is that little joke about the river, how it divides them, but I wish they'd either fill it in or we put the stadium right in the middle of the river, because at the end of the day, we're all Panthers, and that's what my biggest message to everybody is. Like, I want you to be proud of where you came from, but at the end of the day, I don't care what what our high school is, whether it's Southside High School or Rainbow City High School or wherever it was. Like, we're all one. We're one family. And so however that needs to get done, I don't care how it gets done, but it's going to get done. We're going to be one family.
Can I say something about that? We as a team, we could go to every single person. I probably don't know, if they're from Southside or Rainbow City, but, they're all family to me. I hang out with so many people on my team, and I told so many people on my team that we try to make, even the freshmen, I know almost all the freshmen. If I don't know you, it's probably because I just haven't, met you much. But, today we did competition drills, and 2 freshmen, Levi and Wesley, and, I mean, the support that we bring just to our freshmen is crazy, and it's not like that at some places, and it's just like kind of going back to how we're just a family, and that's just the difference between like Rainbow City and Southside is we're just one. We're not really two, but people just like to joke around.
Guys, last year you won 8 games. That's the most wins in Southside, I think, since maybe 2013. So does that challenge you going into this year? You guys are seniors moving up to 6A, but there's a challenge there because you had a disappointment in the playoffs, 8 wins, but what's the challenge there going into 2024?
Yeah, I would definitely say I would love to go 10-0. That is definitely something that I think is possible, and that is what I want to do, to leave like a legacy as a senior, because last year we won 8 games, but we also lost in the first round of the playoffs. At the end of the day, the regular season is for the playoffs. The playoffs is the one thing that matters because you're competing for a state championship, and if you lose in the playoffs, then it's kind of like for nothing. Like we can say, oh, we won 8 games, but we also lost to a team that we beat in the regular season in the playoffs. So we just have to find a way to have success in the playoffs, and that's definitely the one thing that we have struggled with in the past. But as a senior, I hope that I can lead or help lead as a role to beating that.
Yeah, and I know when Coach Stewart first got here, one thing he said is he doesn't want to rebuild. Like, he wants to continue stacking on what Coach Holcomb did. So we're definitely going to try to be better than what we were last year.
Like Coach Stewart said, the past 4 years we made playoffs. Having 8 wins definitely helps with that. But now we understand what the standard is. The standard is 8 wins and above, I guess you would say. So we need to build off of that. And like Jamin said, losing in the first round is it's not ideal to the team that we beat in the regular season. So we got a good schedule. We're going to 6A, and we definitely want more than 8 wins, obviously. And yeah.
Coach, I want to build off of what Jordan just said with your schedule. You opened tough. Guntersville, third-round team in the playoffs in 5A last year. Got a rivalry game, then get into the region play, and all of those are brand-new teams. Could you comment on the schedule this year?
All right, so it's going to sound crazy to you. But other than the first 2 games of the year, and the only reason because the second one being a big rivalry, I actually couldn't tell you how our schedule plays out. And in saying that is because I'm a firm believer in 1-0. You've got to be 1-0 every week. It doesn't, we can't look ahead to the next week and forget about this week. And that's just like the playoffs. I think that's the biggest thing is when you get the playoffs, you take that mentality. And Coach Dillett taught me that if you go 1-0 every week, it's the same thing in the playoffs. If you don't go 1-0 in the playoffs, you're done. But getting back to your question about Guntersville, it's a great game. I believe these guys were telling me y'all had over 400 yards of offense last year. How many? And nothing against them. They had under 150 yards of total offense. And they lost the game. You know what I'm saying? So there's so many. We lost the game, and there's so many teaching moments in that. You don't realize it then, but building on it now, that's the things that you look back on and go, okay, well, the stats didn't show what the scoreboard showed. But at the end of the day, scoreboards don't lie. They don't care what the stats say. And at the end of the day, it goes into the L column. But overall, it is an extremely tough schedule. Year in and year out, Etowah obviously, I'm going to say it again. We go back talking about all the guys that they've had, just go into the league and go in SEC football, and so it's always going to be competitive. Hokes Bluff, I know every year that's the game I've been told. You lose that one, you might want to take a detour home. But in all seriousness, we've got a really good schedule. But it's taking a really good bunch of guys in there and fighting for it.
Guys, we'll wrap it up with this question for you guys. Team goals this year and individual goals for this season.
I'll start. Individual goals is I want double-digit sacks for me personally. And then team goals, beat last year's record and make playoffs.
Yeah, I would say for a team goal, it would definitely be I want to go 10-0, and I want to make it past the first round. That is just like the basis. For individual, I want to have 100 pancakes.
Like Coach Stewart said, team goal is win the next one. If you win the next one, you're going 15-0. Personal goals, I want to get 1,000 all-purpose yards.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Good luck to the Panthers this year. Thanks for participating today.
Really?
Talking to the microphone, please. Get in where do you go for us?
You make me look short, I'm gonna punch you. He makes everyone look short. What are you, 6'4"?
Are we smiling?
All right, we'll welcome the Etowah Blue Devils to the podium today, and Coach Scott Peavy, veteran coach, been around a long time, but first year for the Etowah Blue Devils. Coach, if you'd introduce the players or let them introduce themselves, and some opening comments from you about this year's Blue Devil team.
Okay, to our far right, we have Jalen Greer, who's offensive tackle, returning starter up front for us. Here, number 2 is Jameson Sissom, quarterback, punter. He'll play some free safety as well. Here's Bennett Reeves. He plays tight end for us. Also plays some defensive end. And then at the end is Connor Dingler. He'll play safety, long snapper, returning starter as well. It's been a great transition. I'm excited to be at Etowah. I think our school, I'm working for a fantastic school system that has worked really hard for us to hire new staff and get a whole group of new guys in. And the kids have been fantastic. We got a great group of guys that have worked tremendously hard. And, our seniors have done a great job of leadership throughout the summer. So just excited to be there and excited to be in a school system where football is really important.
Coach, could you talk about the numbers in your program total, the number of seniors on this year's team, and the experience as far as starters, maybe in different places for you, but kids that have started for the Blue Devils before?
Well, we have 51 kids that have finished the summer with us at this point right now. 16 of those guys are seniors. Got a tremendous amount of returning experience. A lot of guys in different positions. We have some guys in different positions that, Connor's probably an example. He's used to being in the secondary, and we played him at outside linebacker a lot this summer, just trying to find out what kind of fit that they would be for us in our system. And so some guys have and Jameson's the same way. He's been the quarterback and hasn't played any defense, but he's played free safety for us all summer long as well. And we're just trying to see where some guys fit and gain some experience at different positions to see where we feel like they can help us the most. And I feel like coach, the last coaching staff had a great plan. They did a good job with playing guys one way, and that was it. But I'm gonna try to get some guys on the field, and let them play a little bit more, play both sides, and see if that'll help us. And so far, it's the kids have done great at it. So we're gonna do some of that.
Coach, I asked you this the other day, but talk about how it speaks to the history and tradition of Etowah football, even in a quote-unquote down year with 3-8. You made the state playoffs for the 11th or 12th straight year.
Yeah, that's a testament to these kids. They're resilient. They continue to work. We're just sitting back there at that table, and there was a couple games that came down to the wire. They had an opportunity, to have a winning season and just a few plays here and there. So, Etowah has a great tradition. I've been around this area for a long time. I was, the head coach at Welborn at one time, and when I was at Madison County, I used to play them, Etowah. And actually, when I was in Georgia, I actually hired Raymond Farmer. He worked on my staff at one time. So, I know the tradition of Etowah football. It's fantastic football, and the crowd support is fantastic. And it's just different. It just means a lot more than other places I've been. And our kids really like it. Our community likes it. So And our school system likes it. So they do everything they can to support our kids. And so our guys are really fortunate in that aspect.
Coach, you just mentioned Etowah and the community there. What was it about the job that enticed you so much? I know it's tradition rich and things like that, and you got a great group of kids around you, but I noticed you mentioned Coach Farmer as well, and I've sat in your office with Coach Farmer, so I know you guys' relationship had to be key in that.
It absolutely was. As a matter of fact, you know, I had heard that the job may come open, and I called Coach Farmer, and I said, hey, if that thing opens, I need your help. You know, and I know, you know, I've never played Etowah where they weren't tough, hard-nosed, physical guys, and you know, and there's always tremendous talent. So you can go back the last 7-8 years. I'm not so sure anybody around here signed more players than Etowah has. So you know, it's a fantastic history-rich program, and I'll tell you a funny story is when I was at Madison County, actually Jordan Chun was my running back. He's actually my offensive coordinator now. And I think it was him. I can't quite remember. I think it was him, and he had a really good night and had a lot of yards. And at one time, he's going down the Etowah sideline, and he gets knocked out of bounds and slides through the cheerleaders. And while he was on the ground, some of the cheerleaders were stomping on him. And so I remember when the job came open, my son looked at me and said, that's the place where the cheerleaders will stomp you. I'm all in. So, you know, and I guess at that point, not only did it mean something to the crowd and everybody else, it meant something to the cheerleaders too. So that was that stuck in my mind for sure.
The next question is for Bennett and Jamison. You two guys are best friends. You play the same position. You guys play the same position in baseball as well. Each one of you guys speak on the other about what is good about him on and off the field, whether it be baseball, but also just being a friend to each other.
There you go. Jamison is probably the biggest character I've ever met. He can probably testify to I'm extremely tough on myself, and any bad day that I'm having, you can kind of just look over to him, and he's like, it's going to get better. And, you know, on the field, I really don't think anybody in Etowah County is as athletic as he is. He can truly do anything. But yeah, he's just a great friend. You know, nothing ever rattles him. He's the same dude all the time. And, you know, he helps us win games. So that's him.
With Bennett, it's just like, I'm more just the athletic build, and Bennett's kind of the brains to it. And so anytime I need a different perspective, I always have Bennett there to help me. And, I mean, it's just fun playing with my best friend. Got him over to Etowah finally after years. And, like, I just feel like we became closer even after he came to Etowah. And I'm just so thankful that he's came.
Coach, I've seen you offensively and defensively for years, and you've always done a good job of playing to the ability of your players. And I guess I'm not going to ask you to tell me exactly what you're going to do, but are we going to see maybe a lot offensively the way you were in Haralson County over here?
No. No.
I've seen you in 7-on-7, so I would say probably not.
Because I think Jameson will break out in a rash. No, we have a lot of guys that can run. We have some tremendous team speed. And, you know, when I got the job and I walked into the gym, Coach Farmer walked in there with me and he said, boy, let me tell you something. You've never been in the presence of so much speed as right now. And he's right. You know, we have some guys that can run. I don't know if we have any true just flat burners, but we have a lot of guys that can run. And so, you know, we're kind of built a little different. You know, we're probably short some linemen. We have enough linemen, but we don't have enough to run the Eagle, you know, that we ran in Haralson County. And, you know, which, you know, it's a great offense. It's a great plan. And our kids were a great fit at Haralson County for that offense. Here, we're a different fit. You know, we're different. We're, like I said, we got some really good team speed and athleticism, so we're going to be pretty multiple in what we do, but we're going to hang our hat on a few things that I feel like can give us a chance to be successful for sure.
One other question is, I knew just about everybody on your staff over at Haralson County. Give us an idea, since you're new here, about your coaching staff this year?
Well, first I want to, say that our system's been awesome. They've done everything they can to try to hire some staff that, and the good thing is when you're in it long enough, you hire some guys that played for you, and I'm super fortunate there. So Jordan Chun, who played for me, he was the 4A back of the year when I was at Madison County. He played for the Dallas Cowboys, broke every record at Troy. He is our offensive coordinator, and we're very fortunate to have him. And then David Rose is our offensive line coach. He's an Etowah guy. His brother's Larry Rose, an Etowah guy that, he is just, right when I got the job, he's the first guy that walked in and said, Coach, I want to be here. And so very lucky to have him as well. Our outside receiver coach is Anton Bowen, who played for me at Welborn. And, I'm lucky to have him too. It's cool to be able to hire some guys that played for you. And then Darryl Roach is our quarterback coach, and Coach Roach, he was the offensive coordinator 2 years ago at Etowah, and he's a fantastic football coach. We're very, very lucky to have him. The way that we got him was just fate. We had an opening, and he happened to have the right certification, so we're very fortunate to have him as well. Zach Hightower's coming from, he was in the Huntsville area for a long time, head wrestling coach in the Huntsville area for a long time, and I just had a previous relationship with him. He's going to coach the defensive line. Inside linebacker coach is Sam Cosby. He's a Cedar Bluff guy that just graduated from Jacksonville State, first-year coach. From there, outside linebacker coach is my son, Jack Peavy. He's also the defensive coordinator. Again, another guy that played for me as well. And then the secondary coach is I'm going to coach the secondary. So yeah, we've got a really good staff, and a lot of experience and a lot of guys with a great track record. So excited about them.
I want to ask the guys. He just mentioned the staff, new coaches. Have they brought in new energy? What is the difference between this staff and maybe the ones that you've had in the past there at Etowah?
I agree. I mean, it just helps, especially in the weight room. We've all gotten stronger. I mean, it helps when you got coaches that are trying to outdo you in the weight room. I mean, this guy beside me, he's trying to push 250 benching, and he's like, can you do it? And I'm like, no, I can't do it. But it just helps. They just bring a different kind of energy that we've had from the previous years, and I feel like that's going to be the key to our success this year.
The coaching staff we had last year and the year before, they were great. But the coaching staff this year is completely different. They push you to your limit, and it's just you can't find a coaching staff quite like the guys we have right now. Like they're there for you no matter what. If you need anything, you can call them. But at the same time, like when you're on the field, they expect the best, and if you don't give it, then they'll find somebody else for the spot. So you can't really find a better group of guys to coach you, and I'm just glad to have them here.
Last year with the coaching staff, it's kind of hard to really, they take a lot of blame. They truly were dealt a bad hand last year, but they still came to work like anybody else. But this coaching staff is extremely tough. It's hard-nosed. You're going to get 1 to 10% better every single day. I think Coach Peavy can back up that I had to get a little bit tougher the last 7-on-7. We had a little incident, but yeah, you're definitely going to learn to be gritty. You're definitely going to learn to play hard football, and especially in the weight room. I think everybody knows that that's the key to winning a lot of football games. The key to staying healthy, and that's the biggest difference is. The progress that he's seen and we've seen since he's been here is just incredible.
For me, the biggest difference I've seen from last year, the guys from last year, they were great, but I feel like the coaches this year, they just bring a whole new energy. They push you to be better every single day. They push you more than you think you can get out of yourself. And bigger than that, they're a support system. You need something, you need somebody to talk to. These guys are always there for you, but also when you're on the field, they're going to push you to be the best you can be. And I just feel like that's something we really needed as a team and for me as an individual.
All right, guys, I've asked all the other teams that's come through. Individual goals, team goals. And don't know if all of you guys are seniors, but the ones that are seniors going into your senior year, team goals, and I know you've talked about it with the coaches, and individual goals for you this year.
Well, my individual goal would be to leave the program better than when I came into it. I was blessed to play my sophomore year under Trace Thompson. I'm very thankful for that. He taught me a lot, but my goal is to really just leave the program better than I found it. And for a team goal, it's obviously to win the state championship, but just to not try to get there too fast, to soak up my senior year and go out with a bang.
You know, playing a little bit my freshman year, a little in and out, and then being thrown into the long snapping spot my freshman year was hard, but like being put in my spot sophomore year, being thrown into my starting spot in sophomore year, it just made me tougher, and that's really just what I want to do with all the people below me. Like, football's a hard, tough game, and if you don't have thick skin, you can't really play it. So I really just want to lead those guys into, you know, that tough guy mentality and make them have some more thick skin, so that way they can handle anything thrown their way. And I mean, for me, it's just to make sure those guys below me are on a good path to take this program even farther.
You know, for me, I played a little bit my sophomore year towards the end of the season due to injuries and stuff, but really I started my junior year at right guard. And, you know, I think for me, team goals, obviously 10-0 state champions, but feel more individuals, just like Jameson said, leave the program better than when I came, but also soak up my senior year, best of my ability, and just sum it up, leave the program best I can leave it. So.
I think team-wise is just going to be, you know, taking it day by day, not getting too far ahead of ourselves. You know, you still got to win week 1, week 2. You know, you want to go each week. Like you said, you got to go 1-0 every week. So, you know, just gradually progressing throughout the season to be the best version of ourselves. Times like when playoff comes, and then individually, you know, learning to become a better leader. I thought we lacked a lot of leadership last year, and you know, Coach Peavy, he only gets 1 year with the senior group, so I think we're going to try our best to, you know, give him a little push start with the next group, and just try to leave it better than what he came into it, and yeah.
I'll ask one final question. We'll wrap it up with this. Coach talked about Etowah being a traditional program, the great support of the community. What does it mean to you guys to represent your school, your community, this football team at Media Day today?
I mean, it's just great. I mean, our fans and community is just so welcoming and helpful. I mean, I can't tell you how many times, good or bad game, I'd get multiple texts that night asking me how I feel and that it'd get better. I mean, it just helps when you have a program like that, because you just know that you have someone that will have your back, and knowing that, I mean, you can just go and fight for them all the time. And Coach Peavy, he's been great.
It's an honor to come today. I thank Coach Peavy for bringing me. I think it's very rare that you have a football team go 3-9, 3-8, and you still have tons of fans, and you're still packing out the crowd. I think it's just a testament to what Etowah is, you know, what the program is built, and yeah.
You know, like Bennett said, like we went 3-8 last year, and our first playoff game was at West Morgan, and that's a long drive, and the stands that we had for that game, like the stands were still packed out. So that just shows you like the belief and the love and like the way that this community really is just like a family. So there's not many places you can go that your football team has a losing record, and probably every ticket in the ticket booth is still sold out. So I think that just shows you like the love and the care the community has for this team, and I mean the care and everything we have for the community as well.
You know, like Jameson and all these other guys said, it's insane the amount of support that the community shows week in, week out. home stadium, away stadium, our side's almost full every week, win or loss. We didn't win a single home game last year, and every game it's just packed house on our side. So I think it's really big to have a support system like that backing you, because it really gives you motivation to go out there and perform and, send the crowd home happy, or just different stuff like that.
All right, guys, thanks a lot. Good luck to the Blue Devils this year.
Appreciate you. Appreciate your covering our team. Thank you. I'm going to take this. You guys
Good luck, guys. Nice seeing you today. Thank you for participating. Thank you. How many chairs do we need? We got enough? We need two more? Let's see. We got two, we got 5, 6 guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we got 6 up there. We'll get one if we don't. But we need coach in the middle.
Yeah, we're going to need 2 more.
Need 2 more, okay. Yeah, we need coach in the middle. Questions, please get in the microphone. Stay in the microphone. If you would for us. You doing good? Everybody doing good today?
Yes, sir.
Great. Chris gonna make you look pretty. All right, we're going to continue today with the Gadsden City Titans and Coach Allie Smith. Coach, I believe this is 6 years. It's been 6. I can't believe it's been 6 or 7.
Absolutely. It goes fast.
It does go fast. You look just like you did first time I ever saw you years ago.
Well, appreciate it.
All right, tell us, let the guys introduce themselves, or you introduce them, and then some opening comments from you about this year's team.
Okay, I introduce them from from right to left. It'll be T.J. Worthy, our senior running back. Alex Swafford, senior receiver. Matthew Sparks, a senior, I'm going to say athlete, receiver, quarterback. Then to my left, Tylen Sims, a junior defensive back. Taylor Barber, defensive end. And then Nehemiah Samples, defensive end, senior. And, well, this year we excited about picking back up. We've had a really good, we feel like we've had a good winter workout going in spring. Our summer workouts have been pretty good, we feel. Our kids, this is our last week. We have one more work day on Thursday. We're excited to see what we can pick up and what we've learned over the last couple of months. Going into this year, we have a lot of returning guys on the offensive side. On the defensive side, unfortunately, we had to replace everyone but one of our linebackers. And then we also replacing 2 defensive backs. So defensively, we don't have as much returning as we do on the offensive side. So, on that standpoint, we, maybe those first few games, maybe looking for them to carry us a little bit defensively, but we've worked, I think that we've worked hard enough to develop players that they should be ready to go.
Coach, are all these guys seniors?
All seniors except for Tyler.
Okay, so how many seniors on this year's team? You spoke a little bit about the experience, so talk about the experience of the entire team.
Right now, we have about 24 seniors. The senior group, the retention and keeping all our kids in our program, that's one of the things when we took over in the season of 2019, we felt that if we could keep all our kids 7th through their 12th grade year, that we would start having some better outcomes throughout seasons. And so this group right here has really worked really hard coming in and just playing a role in developing throughout the time with us.
Coach, you talked about last year, most if not all the games you lost were because of self-inflicted wounds like penalties or blown coverage or, personal fouls. And that's something you wanted to work on during the offseason and having that, maintaining your mental toughness and your composure. I want to ask, the players, how's that been for you? Coach said you concentrated on it. Have you seen any positive results in that area? Starting with TJ.
I feel like we're growing every day in that area. We got us a composure coach, and it's in our ear every day.
Like TJ said, our main thing this year has just been composure, because that did hurt us a lot last year, was personal fouls, so our composure coach has really helped us on that.
I think we have a lot more leadership this year than we did last year, and it's mainly from the senior guys, and we can help keep the freshmen, sophomores, and juniors in check.
Just piggybacking off of what my teammates said, if we can learn to stay composed, it could take us a very long way, getting those 2 extra games.
This year's team, I felt like, has grown a lot in maturity since last season, and it just continues every day.
All I've been hearing is composure at practice, so I think we'll do good next year.
Coach, what's your number one goal or number one thing that you've got to get done between now and kickoff? I know you're a very focused guy. We talked to you a ton this summer, but if you had to put your finger on one thing that you got to dial in on to get taken care of before that first game, what is that?
The biggest thing is the organization of making sure that we are putting our pieces in the right order and making sure that we're putting guys. We've experimented with some guys in other positions from last year that's been 3-year starters that's maybe playing another position, and just making sure that we're putting the right ingredients together. And because every year each team is different. Even though we have a lot of guys returning, we just feel like that we need to make sure we're putting the right guys so we'll have the best 22 guys on the offensive side, defense together, as well as special teams, putting the right guys together.
Coach, also, I know you're an old school guy. In Sansom, we live in a new age era where everybody likes to pass the ball, but as you said earlier, you've got to return a lot. You got to replace a lot on defense, but you got an unbelievable running back sitting over here by you. Talk about how you want to run the football and talk about your running back a little bit and how you're going to kind of lean on him to slow some of these games down and these opponents you got that can score a lot of points.
Well, one of the things that we, with TJ, we feel like that he is one of the best running backs in the state. We do feel that way. But we also feel that we have a lot of guys that's around TJ to help complement him as well. And so we want to just keep the field balanced, and we want to be able to spread the ball around. Last year, we had a lot of guys touch the football, and we want to make sure that we continue to be balanced and make people have to guard the entire field. And we want to run the football. That's no secret. At the end of the day, I think that success comes, you got to run the ball. Even the teams that win championships, when you look at it, they end up they're probably 100, anywhere from 80 yards to 100 yards in a game. I just don't, you're not going in winning too many championships without being able to run the football.
Coach and guys, this is for all of you. 2 years ago, I believe you made it to the second round in the playoffs. Last year, you made it to the third round. I'm sure that's a challenge this year to make it further in the playoffs this year. Could you speak on that and how you're working to get to that point?
Are you asking me or
asking all of you?
Okay,
from your standpoint and then theirs, if you would.
I will let them speak on it because I think that we have worked with them to let them grow as young men, that they could answer that, and I think that they know where we're coming from. I think that we take that one game, 1 week at a time, and we don't take anything for granted. We have to get better every week, and that's what we have to do. And then we'll worry about that as it get there, but I absolutely want to go as far as we can every year and continue to get better. But as they understand they have their own personal and team goals, so I'm sure that's one of them.
Like he said, I feel like we got to get better every week. Last year really can't help us with this year. The only thing I can say help us is that loss to Parker, the small mistakes. We take them out, I feel like we win that ball game.
I feel like especially the people here sitting at the table are not satisfied with what we've done in the past. even though we have been pretty successful. I feel like we all want to go farther than we have.
The coaches always remind us of the score of the Parker game and how we lost it, and the score of the games we lost last year. So I think that's one of the driving factors for this year.
I feel we got to be better in a lot of the aspects that we play in, as far as staying composed, and I feel is that our coaches are taking the steps to help us be better in all those aspects, and it's going to take us a long way.
As a team, I think that we look at each game as a one-week season. We prepare the same for everybody, and we just got to go out there and handle business.
Like Taylor said, it's like a 1-game season, like 1 week season, like each game. But I feel like we'll do better. We just got to keep on working hard and stuff.
Coach, I know you said just a few moments ago you take them 1 game at a time, but each and every year you play one of the toughest schedules, whether you're in 7A or in 6A. I mean, you've got a tough region, but then you throw in Muscle Shoals and Hewitt Trustful and Bob Jones. You just add that to those 7A teams. Speak on your schedule and why you schedule like that.
Yeah, if I had some hair, I think I would scratch it, but rub it out. And I tell you, Coach Gadsden up at Muscle Shoals is a good friend of mine. I tell him all the time, you tricked me into playing you. But, I think that our kids, it gets them up. They like to compete. That's one of the biggest things that we talk to them about going into, every year. And I think our first team meeting was January the 4th on the Thursday for this upcoming season. And we told them, we want you to compete. And I think that that's what we need to do. There's no doubt about it. We have a really tough schedule. We tell them that. They know that. And I think all our kids, typically at 6:30, at 6:25 when breakfast starts every morning, they come in for workouts. I think that's why they're making the sacrifice to get up to come work. If they want to make it and have an opportunity to play in the month of November and have a successful team, I think that you have to play those guys to give yourself a chance. Obviously, our region is getting tougher every year. We're not sneaking up on anybody. I'm sure that everybody has us circled on their schedule this year and going to be ready to compete with us. So our kids need to understand that and be ready to go week in and week out.
We'll wrap it up with this question for all the guys, and I've asked all the guys that's come through this question. Team goals as seniors, I think all of your seniors but one, 24 seniors. I know you guys have sit down last season at Gadsden City. Talk about team goals and your individual goals for yourself this year.
Team goals, I'd like to get a first down every drive and score every drive, and win, compete. And personal goals, I want to double my stats from last year.
I think the main team goal is to be playing December 6th in the championship, and my goal is just to be looked at as a leader, especially by the young guys, and hopefully they'll follow it.
Like Alex said, team goal, get to December 6th, and then my goal will be playing the state games.
Team goal, kind of like what Alex said, December 6th. I feel like everybody wants to play in that game in the entire state. My personal goal is I like to think about it as I want to double my production. Each year I try to improve and produce for my team, because if everybody's producing, then the team as a whole is going to succeed.
Team goal is December 6th. And then my personal goal is to do my job and do it to the best of my abilities.
All right, guys, that's going to wrap us up today. Coach, we appreciate you guys coming. Good luck to the Titans this year.
All right, go Titans.
Chris, make them look good now. All right. We'll continue with the Westbrook Warriors and Coach Steve Smith starting second season at Westbrook. Is this 30 overall, head coach? 30, 31, am I right?
It should be number 30.
Number 30. Been doing it a long time, Coach. It's good to see you again. Let the guys introduce themselves, so you introduce them, then some opening comments from you about this season.
I'll let them introduce themselves.
I'm Noah Wright. I'm senior this year. I'm a linebacker.
Hudson Lowe, senior, right tackle.
As we get ready for the 2024 season, very excited about year 2 here at Westbrook Christian. I can't say enough good things about our guys and the work that they've put in here in the off season. They've done an outstanding job. We've seen some tremendous gains in the weight room and just the morale altogether about football at Westbrook. These guys are 2 of our leaders. We've got 8 seniors this year total, and these guys are returning starters that we have high expectations for this year.
Coach, talk about your overall numbers, if they're where you'd like for them to be, and the number of starters you have coming back on offense and defense for us.
Yes, sir. We have 5 starters coming back on offense and 6 on defense, and we've got our specialists back. This year we've got great numbers. 9 through 12, we're dressing 61. I think we got 8 seniors. I want to say 13 juniors, so 40 of those 61 are 9th and 10th graders, so we got a lot of involvement in the program. Middle school team, 7th and 8th, I think we got like 36 in that group, so got great participation, got great numbers out, and a lot of guys that's really been working hard to try to take Westbrook football to the next level.
Coach, I know it's very sad to talk about Coach Blanchard, but how hard is it to stay focused right now with what the unfortunate news of Coach Blanchard and what just transpired with his passing away? How hard is it for you personally to stay focused on the task at hand? Because, you know, life, a lot of things are bigger than football, but this is definitely one of those cases.
Oh, no doubt. Last 19 years, he's been right there beside me every step of the way. My best friend in there in the coaching ranks, and tremendous job that he always did for us, both at Piedmont for those years and then last year at Westbrook as we were coming over trying to get everything started there. Gonna miss him dearly as a friend. It's a pretty tough time right now. You know, he passed on Friday morning, I guess it was, so only just a few days ago, and had a memorial service last night in the gym at Westbrook. It was very well attended. A lot of people showing up to, pay their respects to Coach Blanchard and to be there for the family. So obviously difficult time to navigate through right now. At the same time, we got what we're supposed to be doing. We can only control the things that you can control, and our guys have been able to pick up the pieces, and we've been able to lean on each other and pull each other together and just do our best to try to go on and go about our business here in the summer.
Next question is, since you arrived there, there's been a lot of changes. You getting to know Westbrook, Westbrook getting to know you, the new facilities, new locker, new weight room. We could sit here for hours and talk about that, but how much different is it this time going into this season? You knowing the community better, them knowing you, the facilities and all that's going on. How much more comfortable are you this year rolling into this season than last?
Yeah, obviously a big difference, between last summer and this summer. I really didn't come on the job last year until June the 1st, so a lot of things that we were doing throughout the summer, it was all brand new to the kids. It was brand new to our coaching staff, brand new to our parents and what they were kind of used to with summer requirements and things of that nature that we were doing. This year's been much smoother. Having a year under my belt, the guys kind of knowing what to expect and all. It's obviously been a lot better in year 2, just from the mere standpoint of better communication and things of that nature. But, everything that I've seen thus far from the administration, our booster club, the kids, the ones that put in the work in every day, it's been tremendous. The buy-in's been terrific, and I'm very pleased with where we're at this point in time. Obviously, still got a long way to go. We still want to keep working each day to improve and ultimately be able to put a competitive team out there on the field each and every Friday night. But the work ethic that the kids have displayed and the support we've had from the administration and the booster club and all has been tremendous.
This question is Noah and Logan. Now with the year under your belt with Coach Smith, what kind of top things he brought to the program that you see that really not only make you better football players, but better people? Either one can start.
Yeah.
Can you repeat the first part of the question?
Yeah, what did, now you played under Coach Smith for a year, probably kind of know what he expects and the staff expects, so what are a couple of things that you think he made you better as both a player and a person?
So he definitely demands a higher standard of work ethic, and it's made us a better person on and off the field, I feel like.
Yeah, we're living in the weight room. We've gotten significantly stronger and bigger, faster, and I feel like that'll make a big impact on this season.
Coach, you talked a little bit about it just moments ago. Coming from Piedmont, very successful. You left, I knew you back at Cedar Bluff. When you left Cedar Bluff, left it in great shape. Came from Piedmont. Putting your stamp on the program here at Westbrook, are you where you want to be headed into your second year?
I don't know if there's ever a coach that's going to tell you they're where they want to be. Everybody always wants to be a little further along, but I can tell you with 100% accuracy and certainty that I'm very pleased with where we're at as far as our kids, the buy-in, the work ethic. They still understand that we've got a long way to go. We still got to get better. We still got to keep, striving for excellence in everything that we do. But, when you're the new guy and you come in, one of the biggest things you have to do is get the buy-in from everybody at the school, and it starts with those players in the locker room, and these guys have been tremendous as far as wanting to buy into what we're trying to preach to them and carrying over into the classroom and away from the field, away from school, just being the types of people that they're supposed to be. I can't say enough good things about these kids and the coaching staff that we have. We've got a common vision of what we want, what we expect out of the guys on and off the field, and it fits into the school's philosophy. I'm very happy each and every day when I go to work. I've been fortunate in the places I've worked at. I've worked for tremendous administrators at every place, and Westbrook Christian working for Ms. Neal is no different. I've got great support from our principal and from our administration, and having that type of support and that feel every day when you go to work, you don't feel like you're going to work. And going into year 30 as a head coach, I really can honestly say I feel like for 30 years I've gone every day and enjoyed every day, and didn't always go my way every day, but I've looked forward to getting up and going to work every day for the people I work for.
Could you talk about the things that you've done this summer as far as OTAs, 7-on-7s, passing camps, things you've done this summer to get ready for the fall?
Yeah, we've never really bought into the OTA stuff. I think a lot of the stuff that goes on this summer, of course, my opinion is just that. It's just my opinion, but a lot of the stuff that goes on during the summer turns into more of a controversial type stuff than anything else. We do some 7-on-7s. We did a couple of 7-on-7s back the first full week in July. Our linemen go to lineman camp each year down at Clay Chapel when Coach Yeager puts on the Southeastern Lineman Camp Academy. We've done that for all the way back to my time at Cedar Bluff. But I'm not a big fan of the 11-on-11, the OTA stuff in the summertime. I don't know how it is at other places, but we always have a hard enough time when we just try to go 3 quarters against each other. Then you start depending on other teams trying to go 3 quarters against each other, and usually it winds up in a skirmish or a fight, and I don't really know a lot of good that comes out of it. But that's just my opinion. Other people can do it. They may like doing that. I like to coach football. I don't like to coach all that other junk.
Coach, 3A Region 6, tough region, a 9-game region schedule this year. Could you talk about your schedule and your couple of non-region games there?
Yeah, 9-team region kind of puts you a little bit behind the 8 ball from a scheduling standpoint because you have to allot 9 weeks for your region play. You got 8 region games, then you got an off week, and our region. I'm pretty familiar with the region because it's that old Calhoun County region. I think there's 5 schools from Calhoun County, then us and Glencoe make 6 and 7, and then the 2 schools from Blount County, Locust Fork and J.B. Pennington. So got a little familiarity with the teams in the region. Our non-region, we're going to play Montford week 5 in a non-region game. That's the blanket week that everybody's off, and a 9-team region is week 5, and then we drew week 7 out of the hat as our other non-region week. We have a region game week 1 and a region game week 10. So week 7 was our other non-region, and we picked up a school, Innovation Academy, out of Tennessee to play week 7. So that'll be our 10 game, and us and Hokes Bluff are going to play a jamboree week 0. So I've never been a big fan of an open week. I know a lot of coaches that prefer that. I don't like an open week myself, so we were able to get a week 0 jamboree and then 10 straight regular season games.
Guys, could you talk about as seniors on this football team, and I think Coach said there were 8 of you on the football team. I know you've got together this final season there at Westbrook. Talk about your team goals and individual goals for you guys this year.
Individual goals is be the best version of ourselves and work every play and every practice we can to better ourselves. And team's goal is probably to sort of the same thing, just do as best as we can, play each week by the week, practice each week for the game that week.
Probably just be a leader to these young guys and leave a legacy here and be a Christ-like example and just make a run.
Coach, this is going to be a question for you, then a question for those 2 guys. But there's a reason you brought these 2 guys. You've got 8 seniors, and I'm sure you could have brought them all. Could you talk about the reason these 2 guys are representing Westbrook today?
The biggest reason is just their past performance, obviously. They were big-time contributors for us last year. And then their off-season, their work and their commitment, their leadership, their ability to inspire those around them to be their best. As you probably can tell from here versus some other schools that might have been up here earlier than us, these guys don't talk a whole lot. And that I'm a lot more geared toward results than I am words. And they do a great job of leading by example. When it's time to come to work, they come to work. They do a great job within our school building as far as being the leaders in their class. And so that was the reason that I chose these 2 to come today.
You guys, talk about how it makes you feel to be chosen. After you heard Coach talk about it, how does it make you feel to be chosen, the 2, to represent your school and your football team here today?
It's a big opportunity. I feel honored. He could have picked anybody, but he picked us, and I'm just glad to represent Westbrook here today.
It's an honor and a joy. And all the coaches in our community important to us enough, and now it's our turn to do our job on the field.
And you said, Jeff, we could have brought any of those 8 guys. That's not a slight at any of the other guys that we didn't bring. These guys just kind of stood out to me for their consistency. That's the word that we preached from day one when I got there, their consistency of bringing the effort, the attitude, being dependable, being reliable. They just sort of stood out to me as the guys that I thought would be the best choices to bring today, but the other 6 guys could have very easily come as well.
Coach, I'm going to wrap it up today with you. Asked earlier Coach Rob about this. He's 29 years head coach, you're 30 years head coach. The reason why you keep doing it?
Well, I love it. And, you got 3 kids college age like I do. You got to work somewhere. And I couldn't think of a better job than coaching for high school football. I love the game. And I told somebody I've been a part of a team ever since I was 8 years old. So I'm 53, about to be 54. So for the last 45 years of my life, I've been a part of a team. And there's just something about being part of a team. If you never experienced, you might not, you're missing out. But if you never experienced it also, you don't really get it. But being part of a team is something that I just think is a vital part of happiness and my livelihood. And I just enjoy coaching high school football. I think these guys are at an age where they're very impressionable still. You can still make an impact on them, and you can still steer them in the right direction. And I just always have felt like, teaching and coaching is kind of a calling. And until the Lord tells me He wants me to do something else, I hope to always be involved in this game.
Coach, thanks to you and your guys. And, Coach, I still miss coming to Cedar Bluff and going to Fibbers with you.
There you go. Good stuff. Good memories. We're dating ourselves right there, Jeff. But thank you all for having us, and thank you for covering high school football in this area, and thank you for having Westbrook Christian here today.
Sardis Lions. Yeah, put it up here. We'll get it right here in front. Thank you, sir. How are you guys today?
Good, how are you?
Good. When you talk, make sure you talk in the microphone, okay?
Sure.
All right, thank you. Where'd he go? There he is. right, Coach. I thought you were going to leave him by yourself.
I thought about it.
Hey, Chris is waiting to get a picture, and he needs the prettiest one.
Hey,
All right.
you
I don't-
want
I
me
don't
out
know
of,
he's
if you want the prettiest
about-
one, you gotta take me out of.
What you can do with Photoshop. Right here, gentlemen. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2.
Okay, we'll welcome the Sardis Lions and Coach B.J. Brooks beginning his second season. Coach, if you'd let the guys introduce themselves, or you introduce them, and then some opening comments about this year's Sardis Lions team, we'd appreciate it.
I'm going to let them introduce themselves, so we'll start on the right and go from here.
I'm Joshua Hopper. I'm a tight end and middle linebacker. I'm Griff Brooks. I'm a wide receiver and DB.
I'm Brian Chapman. I'm quarterback.
I'm Seth Cooper. I'm DN.
All right, so kind of the way we go about doing it is just like last year. I let our seniors pick the guys they want to represent them. I think that's one of the best things, the best award you could have is to be picked by your peers. So that's why every single one of these guys are up here is because their senior class picked them. Josh played some tight end for us a good bit last year. Chapman played a lot, he was our starting quarterback. Seth played outside linebacker. He's about 20 pounds lighter than he is now, so he's been eating and working out. Griff actually didn't play at all last year. So that lets you know how much of a competitor he is and what his peers think of him, that he's coming out here for his senior year and that they would vote him to do that. As far as just how the off seasons went, it's probably been your typical off season. Offensively, we lost 10 of 11 starters. The only starter we have coming back is this quarterback right here. I inherited a pretty good senior class, but I don't know what you heard, but we are still having athletics at Sardis High School. We are still having a football team and a basketball team and all that thing. So these guys, I tell them we're going to have a season no matter what, so you better get ready for it.
Coach, you said one offensive starter. Number of kids in the program, how many seniors total on the team, kids in the program, and how many defensive starters back?
So we had 6 defensive starters back. We should be more of a defensive strength team this year. About 72, roughly, on the roster. So just constantly trying to get better every day, build more depth, and these guys do a good job of being leaders and teaching those young guys and bringing them along.
This is a players except for Griff, because you guys were there last year. You guys started out pretty good at 5 or 6-1. Then you kind of hit a rough skid with a couple of region losses that just left you out of the playoff. How much does that motivate you for this year with the hard work in the offseason to determine that's not going to happen this year? That's you. Go ahead.
We just it motivates us greatly. Like, we want to go back and we want to beat them this year. Like, we want to do good and go deep.
So here's what's crazy about these guys right here. Honestly, I'll answer y'all's questions, but I want this to be about them. I get to talk to you guys all the time. I mean, I talk to Kevin at church every Sunday, so I get to talk to all you guys. I want them to get the questions directed to them. And these guys right here, they're always talking. And you just put this microphone in front of them, nothing. Nothing at all.
Now, Coach, you know what to do in the locker room. You want to
Oh, yeah.
put a microphone.
That's right.
Each one of you guys, let's talk about the atmosphere there at Sardis. You guys have a designated tailgating section there to see your parents, friends, and family right outside your locker room. I know y'all can probably smell that in the locker room. And Coach, spoke about it. We had the opportunity to come up there and watch a couple of games last year, but the whole mindset, atmosphere, everything's changed at Sardis about football. It's become very, very important there, and each one of you guys are a big part of that. Can you guys speak on that, each one of you?
Yeah, we have a great community supporting us, every game, bringing out a lot of fans and ready to watch us, compete.
Yeah, we have a great atmosphere up at Sardis. The fans never got to worry about having a non-packed crowd, and I think it really helps us go out there and compete on Friday knowing that we have people behind our back.
Yeah, just like they said, we got a really supportive community, and just being my first year and me not being on the field, seeing the community, you can just tell how much all the parents and the people in our community care about supporting us through fundraisers and them providing everything that they can for us, locker room wise and food wise at our 7-on-7s and everything. They pretty much said it. I mean, the community's great at Sardis, and they really support us, and it helps us on Fridays.
I talk to Coach pretty regular, as he mentioned. He gets to talk to us all the time. So let's talk about Coach a little bit. He loves you guys. He's poured into you guys. He's got facility upgrades for you, a new look. This helmet looks unbelievable right here. Talk about your coach and what you know about him and what you'd like to tell the community and the world, so to speak, about your head coach and what he means to you personally.
He's a great person. He wants us to be a family. He wants us to be good people more than football players. So he really is like really good with that. So Coach Brooks just really brings everybody together as one. He's one of the greatest people as father figure-wise you can get, and he doesn't even really focus on wanting you to win games. All he wants to do is to make you be the best man you can possibly be now and throughout your life. And he's always really supportive, and he's brought that spark that Sardis needed to get us going and rolling and everything.
Yeah, he's really bringing something that Sardis has lacked in the past, and that's a good winning culture. And I think playing behind him just motivates me to play better because I know I have a great head coach and great guy.
Yeah, Griff said most of it, but he's really putting some work ethic in us.
Coach, this is a two-part question. Prior to coming to Sardis, you had spent a lot of time at Hoover High School. The first question is, what experience or what things did you learn from Coach Niblett down there at Hoover? And the second question is, since you've had a full year with the football team off season from a strength and conditioning standpoint, are you where you think you need to be? Or I mean, there's always room for improvement, but from a strength standpoint, how do you feel about the team?
Man, working with Coach Niblett it was just a blessing. You could learn something from him every single day, whether that's being a better coach or just being a better person. He's constantly motivating you to be the best you can be at everything, to be the best dad you can be, to be the best person you can be, to be the best coach, just to be the best friend. I've taken countless things from him. Obviously, I said there's some things that we try to take that I learned from him and implement at Sardis, but you can't implement every single thing that Hoover does at Sardis, just like you can't implement that you get something from every single job that's going to work at every single place you go. Second part of the question is, if you can't, we got some guys that like to work out. I joke around with them and say we can't be little and slow. Like if we're going to be slow, we at least got to be big. We got to be able to move some guys around. So we work out 6 a.m. in the mornings before school. They'll tell you that can get old quick, but they show up, they work, they bust their tail. Chapman right here has put on 15 pounds probably. What do you weigh right now?
About 205, but I did get up to like 220.
Yeah, so Seth's gained about 20 pounds. This guy right here, I begged him to play football. Begged him. He just kept saying, Coach, I just don't know if it's for me. Don't know it's for me. I get a text from him after one of the first football games. Coach, I made a mistake. I should have played. Ever since then, when January's got here, he's been in there working out every day, even though he wasn't necessarily on the football team. Josh Hopper, he is dependable. This morning, I was actually freaking out a little bit. We had an OTA, and I text Josh just because I had moved some guys around the weight room. He wasn't his normal bench, and I told all the coaches, I said, man, I'm super nervous that Hopper is not here. I said, I'm really concerned. I texted him. I said, where are you? And then I came around and I saw him on the other bench. He had just said behind him. I said, oh my gosh, man, I was so nervous you weren't here. But so they like to work out. They don't have an option. We bust their tails. So.
Guys, I want to ask you a question. Coach said when you sit down that your senior class chose you to be here out of all the seniors there. Talk about how that makes you feel to be voted by the other players to be here today.
It means a lot. That means that they look up to us and think of us as leaders, and that means a lot. It's an honor. It's just it just shows that the person I'm trying to be, I'm doing an at least half decent job at it if they chose me to come here and talk for not only just us four and coach, but our whole team.
Yeah, it's a blessing to be chosen by my peers. Really shows that they wanted me to represent, and just feels good.
He's going to.
Yeah, they said everything. They're stealing all my answers.
These are the two biggest goofballs you will ever meet. I promise.
I understand.
If you ever seen the movie Step Brothers, it's these two guys. They do these weird dances together. They're hanging out. See, they're getting red now. Is this on YouTube?
Yeah.
Good. I will share this with everybody. So you can find all about these two guys. These guys are crazy right here.
Coach, I will ask you this. Obviously, a tough region. 5A region, I guess it's Region 8 this year. But also, you've got Geraldine, who is almost probably should have been a state championship game, lost a tough one at home last year. You opened with them. You've got Alexandria, I believe, is a non-region game this year, along with the Cleveland County. And I know you're going to take them one at a time, but kind of talk about your schedule this year.
Yeah, so we're not scared to compete. And that's the mindset we're trying to bring is we don't care what their jersey says. We don't care who we play. We're there to compete. Sure, those are some good teams. Those are some good programs, but you have to go out there and just get after it. You know, I don't think Sardis has ever beat Alexandria in school history. So looking forward to the challenge. Cleveland County, I know years back they got put in the same region, you know, another really good high school football program. We want to play those good programs. We want to let our kids to see what it's like to go in and play other good high school programs so that they can see that standard of what it's like to be good, and that's what we want to be. So we want to let them see that as much as possible. Geraldine, Michael Davis, another good coach. Like you said, Coach, they probably should have been playing for the state championship. They're rough, they're tough, and that's what we want to be. So if you want to be really good, you got to play some really good opponents to get you some measuring sticks to see where you are, where you want to be.
All right, we'll wrap it up with this question I've asked all the other teams as they've come through the guys. Personal goals and team goals. I know you as a senior, you guys have come together, and I know you've made goals. So talk about team goals and individual goals for the 2024 season.
My personal goal is to be a leader, tell the young ones, you know, in my position. And our team goal is just to go out there and compete, show them what we got.
My personal goal is to go out there and lead the team the best I can, and team goal is to just progress each week and get better each week.
I just want to be one of the good guys that everyone looks up to, all the young guys look up to, that because us seniors, we've experienced all 4 years under our belt that those guys don't see coming, and they don't see the things they're going to have to go through and the things they're going to have to endure. And I just want to be one of the guys to help them prepare for that and leave everything I have left for this last year I get in high school football.
My personal goal and my team goal are kind of the same. Just leave it all on the field. I want to go out there and win and give it the best I got, and I want the team to do the same.
All right, guys, we appreciate you coming today.